5 people died in a small plane crash on Interstate 40 in Nashville. According to authorities, the plane reported engine failure before it crashed shortly after 8 o'clock last night. That plane was flying from north of Tennessee into Tennessee when it crashed on a grassy median along the interstate. That stretch of roadway has been shut down because of all the wreckage. Police say the FAA is investigating and the NTSB is expected to arrive on scene later today.
The Nelson County School Board is shaking up the district's leadership in a major way. In a special session last night, the board voted to remove Superintendent Wes Bradley. Angry parents, educators, and students were ushered out by law enforcement. Bradley had become popular with them because of his stance on the district's plan to merge 2 high schools. All
right, there's just so much to unpack here. Jim Stratman is here in the studio with us this morning to help do that. And Jim, really, the fact of the matter is there's only one person on the school board that voted to keep the superintendent.
Yeah, and it was an interesting scene too. At the end, you saw one member of the school board standing up, that was Tracy Bowling, applauding with the rest of the crowd in attendance for Wes Bradley, who was removed from his position last night. The other 4 board members voting to remove him with cause. It's the latest in a string of unpopular decisions with the public who showed up at last night's meeting for the school board. The board has come under fire in recent months for its attempt to merge schools throughout the district, starting with a plan to merge 3 middle schools and later a plan to merge the high schools. Residents of Nelson County sued the school board back in September. They allege in that lawsuit that the individual board members acted outside of their roles and tried to push Superintendent Bradley out of his position by contacting outside attorneys to try and buy him out of his contract. Last night, the board took matters into their own hands and voted Bradley out. Now, the board cited 6 reasons for his removal. Those were neglect of duty, academic neglect leading to low performance, failure of leadership, failing to act as the professional advisor of the board, engaging in conduct causing division within the district, and engaging in conduct that has resulted in a majority of the board losing trust in him. Bradley, for his part, addressed the crowd and said that the most important thing is that this decision should not impact student learning.
Firstly, I just want to share gratitude with all the educators across Nelson County schools. Really proud of the work that continues in our schools, and we also, over the next month, it's important that this doesn't become a distraction from student learning. I think that the key piece in all this is none of this should take away from our students.
Now, the board did not stick around to answer any questions after this meeting. The decision still needs to go through the Kentucky Department of Education's commissioner for approval. Now, if it is approved, the board will have the ability to appoint an interim superintendent. Grace and Eric, now this decision still needs to get to the Kentucky Department, as I said, the Kentucky Department of Education's commissioner for approval. Once that is there, we'll be able to move forward with the next steps.
All right, Jim, thank you so much. We're turning now to some of our other top stories this morning. In a move to address housing discrimination concerns, today, Governor Andy Beshear will join city leaders and housing advocates to act on House Bill 18. The bill sparked controversy over its potential impact on local ordinances aimed at preventing discrimination based on a tenant's source of income. What does that all mean? Those ordinances stop landlords from refusing to lease or rent properties to people who rely on federal housing assistance programs. Cities like Louisville and Lexington have passed such ordinances. Governor Beshear will speak about the legislation at 9 this morning at the Beecher Terrace Community Center.
6 minutes after 6 now, and check out this video from our Sky 11 drone. Kentucky transportation crews were back out on the 2nd Street Bridge yesterday looking at the damage from Friday's crash that left a semi dangling over the Ohio River. They're currently working on a repair plan for the damaged pedestrian sidewalk and the railing. Although the bridge is back open for traffic, some drivers are still hesitant to get on it. One woman who lives in Louisville but works in Jeffersonville told us seeing the sidewalk crumbling was all she needed.
I saw the concrete crumbling. I don't know, I've seen all those movies where the bridge falls apart and I'm just afraid to drive on it now.
Drivers, not so much. They say they didn't hesitate about driving across that bridge. They are still happy just to have a bridge that isn't tolled.
I just didn't think about it after the guy told me that it was just a sidewalk that was messed up.
In a news conference, Mayor Craig Greenberg revealed more on how that crash happened that damaged the bridge. He says witnesses told police a vehicle traveling southbound hit a stalled vehicle, then lost control and crossed into the northbound lane. That's where the vehicle hit the semi-truck, which was traveling north, pushing the truck through the guardrails.
The Louisville firefighter who rescued the driver from the semi has been getting much deserved recognition across the country. Bryce Carden said despite all the attention, he doesn't feel like a hero. So we should be having a soundbite here from Bryce Carden, but here we go. Listen to that.
I just played. I've said it 100 times. I played a very small piece in a large puzzle, and I contribute all the success of it to the guys topside and the guys on the bottom who helped make it happen.
And Carden says he has not talked to the driver since the rescue.